professors?
Yeah, I would say so. I got a letter from Dr. Magnuson, who I never had a class from, but he's a professor and he teaches at the middle school. So he was never one of my professors, but he was my mentor in the bioengineering department. So I think if they have certain qualifications and you can use them, when they say professors, I don't think they want you to go and get somebody you work for at like a job or your aunt or uncle to write you a letter. Make sure that they're involved in the university.
And then when you all were going through undergrad, who helped you like figuring out classes and like what you all needed to do and stuff like that? Because there's no pre-med advisors at UofL for some reason, so I didn't know who you all used or what resources you all had.
Well, you have your engineering advisor, right?
But they don't necessarily know exactly what needs to be done.
Right. And you know, the only thing that if you just do the standard curriculum, there's only 4 courses that you need to order, right? That you need to add. It's just these 2 bio labs. And you have to add on organic 2. I don't think that's part of the curriculum still, and the organic 2 lab. So basically, I mean, do everything you can to finish your bioengineering curriculum, add these 4 courses, and then you should be golden.
If I can add that, so we did have a couple of years ago where the faculty had come up with a list of courses that the students could take to do away with having to follow the biology curriculum from med school, where there's the bioengineering one and engineering in general. And Dr. Roussel and Dr. Vore were the ones that started that. And, we're still waiting on approval from the medical school to get that formally implemented. But Dr. Vore and Dr. Roussel are the ones in bioengineering that are working with the students in the rest of medical school. So that's kind of the advisor. Things have changed since you were here in that they have a centralized advising now. So all the students for the first 4 years go to that centralized speed school advisor. They're not going to the individual faculty in bioengineering anymore, whereas that's what we did with you guys. So you guys were able to get feedback from us as faculty and mentorship matters.
So Dr. Russo is right there. So you can talk to Dr. Russo and Dr. Wu regarding this, and once that document is approved, we'll post it on the bioengineering website so that you all have access to that, and that way you can clearly see. And that will also hopefully bring down the requirements for additional courses. Because the other thing is, as Keith said, if you're taking your master's, you can take some of the biochemistry courses, and they are approved electives. And so that way it can reduce the burden in terms of what you have to take. I mean, especially if you're doing the master's. If you're not doing your master's, you're still allowed to take up to 6 graduate credit hours as part of your PE elective. It's a little bit more dicey when you're trying to do that. If you're doing a master's, the number of courses you have to take will reduce.
I actually talked to Mrs. Coffey from admissions, and she said the only other class that you take that's not in the flight plan for biolabs is the BE 53, Intro to Bioengineering. On top of that, I had a question. I've heard from various people that you can't use engineering professors as a science letter recommendation. Is that the case for you guys? Like, do you guys know?
I use science.
Okay, so.
So have I. So. Nope. And here are 2 examples that proves otherwise.
I can honestly say that 100% of the recommendations that I've written, the students have gotten in school.
Well, do I still give them count as non-science or science?
You know, I definitely
Sorry. No science.
The most non-sciencey thing I used was veterinary, and I think that's pretty sciencey. Actually, there were a couple cert. It was Dr. Drew, Dr. Koenig, Dr. Ken, Dr. Sherwood, and Dr. Gobin.
And Erin, I know I did
Dr.
Dr.
Van Peebles,
too.
Dr.
Probably Dr. Koenig and Dr. Slaughter as well.
studiet bei Rückschritt an Temporal, Erin.
Any other questions?
Some schools are changing their prereqs to include like sociology and whatnot. Have you heard talk in the admissions at UofL if they're going to do that?
I would just look at any med school that you're interested in and go to their application website, because they're all gonna list their prerequisite courses
Yeah,
right up
I
front.
just didn't know if UofL was going to change it to include those.
I just heard it was saying,
Yeah, that's the comment I would make on, the comparison we have is really to U of L's requirements, so, that's gonna be different based on other schools, so we'll have to kind of.
Last time that I spoke to a UofL rep, they suggested that you take sociology courses, but I don't know if it was mandatory or not. That was
So we encourage, those who want to go to medical school, what we've done, we've encouraged them with the new expectations of biochemistry and sociology is to take sociology as one of your humanities electives, and it's just, because you have to pick some anyway, so why not choose one that's going to help you on that, right? And then the other thing that the U of L Med School did too was that in lieu of organic chem lab 2, you can take a biochemistry course. They have allowed that.
So biochemistry, 545, biochemistry, 640, 547, 645, 640, they are approved electives right now.
any questions?
Questions about med school?
If you all need, take down our emails. We're glad to talk to anybody. We kind of currently mentor a few students through BNBS, and actually we started engineering and medicine, which may undergo a name change to innovation in medicine next year, but it's a medical school RSO. And we've done a pretty great job. We've done these med tech talks where they featured surgeons, engineers over at UofL Med School, and gotten some great participation by a number of engineering students. And we hope to keep that going through the years and just kind of even try to bridge this gap as much as possible.
If I can add something, we did have, our very first student went to finish the bachelor's, and he was in the very first class, and he went to U of L and graduated, and he was really appreciative for the bioengineering background that he had, because his first residency out was at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, and he went to work with the orthopedists, and he's getting tons of publications. Now he's looking for his fellowship, and his options were Harvard. Gosh, I can't remember what the other two were. Harvard, North Carolina, and then there was one other that is considered tops in orthopedics. And he just sent us a note recently that they were going to have a match day, but I didn't see where he ended up at yet. But Nancy may have got the word on it. Just to show you that having that engineering background will help you. And if you found that it's put you in a better position compared to your colleagues?
Well, with my experience in the first 2 years, I kind of struggled through the classes because it's very high volume, high memorization, and it's like something that it wasn't really a part of my brain I was used to using, but I got used to it and I got through it. And then now I'm on clerkship and I feel like I have more to add. I feel like we got a lot of experience in biology and working on teams and working on projects, and I think the critical thinking skills and decision making is really helpful for the later years.
I think, in my opinion, nothing beats bioengineering for a pre-med curriculum. If I was to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing, same exact way. I think that background in math is just, you probably won't see much help. That won't be too useful in the early years when you're just, trying to memorize as much as possible. But like you said about critical thinking, like you said about, you get a variety of skills that you don't get in a traditional biology or chemistry program. Like we for instance, with the FDA binder and all these projects that you can put through in the later years of bioengineering just makes you much more professional, in my opinion, and ready to handle the stress. You know, yeah, a lot of times bioengineers have a hard time, engineers in general, because they aren't, like you said, ready, or they haven't been trained to think in that way. But once you get on the wards and you start solving problems, it's a perfect place for an engineer, because you're thinking about an issue, you're thinking about the differential, and you're connecting the dots. And at that point, I feel like I've been put in a great position, so I'm really happy.
What prep tools or whatever for NCAT did you all use, or did you all use anything?
I used the Kaplan course, so I believe it was during my spring co-op. I signed up for a Kaplan course and came in on the evenings and the weekends and actually took a written course and studied the books. One of the keys is just to take practice tests. So if you have practice in cats, to simulate the test. So your keep it a little different, you know.
I did not do the course. I think it probably would have been helpful. I did an MCAT question a day, and that was great. Use these, I want to pull this up, use these resources. They will give you good and more up-to-date stuff. Student Doctor Network, everybody uses that. That'll also, they have sort of live threads, kind of, when they're doing the application process. You'll start to hear like, oh, this, you know, we got in off the wait list or something. If you want to kind of stay in the loop of the national progression of things in the application process, then Student Doctor Network is great, and just getting general information about resources and stuff, and all of these other things. These aren't just like, this isn't like a bibliography, this is like things, websites that you can use that will help you. So. Any other questions?
Thank you very much for pizza.
Thank you, everyone.